How important has Ant been to my 2025 triathlon season?
Honestly, I'd say Ant has probably been a cornerstone for your 2025 season. The way you've described it, he's not just a guy, but a partner in crime out there. It sounds like he's really helped shape the whole experience, and the two of you probably learned a ton from each other. So yeah, I'd say it's been pretty crucial.
That could have gone two ways. If that had been said, he's awful. He's been absolutely awful.
I am delighted to be joined by my guide, Ant. I talk about Ant a lot in my videos, but Ant has been my guide for this year. He's done a great job. We've got big plans for next year and beyond. We're going to talk about triathlon, talk about his journey as an individual triathlete and as my guide. All right, Ant, so no pressure, the spotlight is on you. As an athlete coming into guiding, what had you done before?
I've done 4 full Ironmans, Florida twice, Barcelona twice, and then numerous 70.3s.
But interestingly, you'd never done a sprint before we got together.
Half Ironman was the shortest.
Which is ridiculous. It's a 1.9 kilometre swim, 56-mile bike and a half marathon run. So Ant had never started with the small stuff, so I took your cherry on the sprint distance.
Sure did.
The way that I found Ant was Nottingham Outlaw did a sprint and I signed up for it. And I went on the Outlaw Facebook group and I put a post up saying, I've got this race next year, does anybody want to be my guide? I got about 5 guys messaging me on Facebook, and then little by little we kind of whittled them down. It's like online dating. So I whittled it down to 1, and then we're like, we should probably meet up. It's like, I should probably be my wife. So we basically had a double date in Starbucks in Durham, didn't we? Met in the middle, and that was that.
I just thought it'd be a nice thing, a good thing to do. I have my struggles with my stuff, so the training gave me a way to get through my struggles, and I thought, oh, if somebody's struggling with what you obviously deal with, that's nice to help somebody carry on doing something they love to do. From being a kid, I had PTSD and stuff, and depression, anxiety, and like I carried stuff with me for years, and I never told anybody. And then obviously came to light, and Rach helped me through it. And then me and my brother was talking about he was talking about training for an Ironman. I was like, oh, I'll try that, and started training, and that kind of helps. Like, you know, it's like when you're training, you focus on training and you're not focusing on other stuff. That's why I train all year round. If I don't train, the head just goes, it's like a mental health medication in a way. It helps me as well, to be fair. It's like, when we race, my anxiety race, I get really bad anxiety when I race, before the race, but when there's somebody there with you, if you know what I mean? It helps, doesn't it? It's just...
It does, especially when he forgets his wetsuit.
Yeah, I'm worried about stuff that you forgot rather than...
See, I'm the same as you. I like the fact that we're a team. So when I turn up to races, it's like, man, we're racing together. So it's like, it's all good, you know?
I get really bad imposter syndrome when I'm at races. So having somebody there, like you say, as a team.
Do you really? In what way? Because you're a good athlete, like you're an immense triathlete.
But you get anxiety of like, oh, I shouldn't be here. I'm not good enough to be here, look at everybody else.
I think people would be looking at you going, look at his expensive bike, I hope he got that on a cheap deal. Got that
very cheap deal.
Then didn't tell his wife how much his bike costs, I bet. So whenever it's like, let's do some training sessions, there's always a bit of me, it's like, I really hope you don't hate what we're doing, because if you do, you might change your mind. It's really hard because you have to trust that the person's not going to go, you know what, mate, like, no, I'm not really up for this.
There was a little bit of that when we got in that water.
Yeah.
And I couldn't feel my fingers.
Yeah, it was quite funny because I remember saying to you, have you got boots? Have you got this? And you're like, no, I'll be fine. I'll be absolutely fine. And then when you first felt the water, I was like, he's definitely not fine.
That's the coldest water I've ever been in. I remember dropping in, I was like, stood there, are you all right? Yeah.
Once it got going, it was okay, but the hands and the feet just stayed freezing. I don't even think we put the tether on that day. But yeah, that was an experience. We got set up nicely by Maggie. You found out a lot about yourself in the bike fit. See, I'm training to become more tolerant of a lower gear and a slightly lower cadence, and I think you're coming the other way, so we'll meet in the middle. And obviously we smashed the bike in the car park. It was just that little bit of time in the car park. And then we're straight into a race, and it was like, whoa, this is full on.
I was like, what have I got myself into, to be honest? Because I went on my own to start with, like, on the tandem, and I was like, oh my God.
It's a beast, it is a beast.
And you got on the back, and every time you moved, it's moving. I was like, oh geez, I don't know if I can do this.
But see, it's funny because I watched you go and I was just like, well, it's clipped in first time, so it's going to be fine. But my My biggest feeling from when you did that go around the car park was relief, because it's like, well, he's not falling off and he's not decided not to do it, so that was good. What was your impression like before our first race?
Or when you forgot your wetsuit?
Yeah. Where you're like, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
but even then, I was panicking then.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was like, oh, do I help? Do I not help? I don't want to do too much. I mean, you're like, oh, what are you doing? I can do that.
Yeah. To be fair, that's probably the hardest thing, but we communicate well with each other.
I was looking forward to it, but in a really nervous way.
And when did that vanish? When did that nerves go?
As soon as we hit the water, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
As soon as you hit the water.
And then the best part, when we came out of the water, I was fumbling around trying to get Ant's arm. We ended up running in transition, holding hands.
I could hear Rach going, oh, look at that.
In the swim, we're not able to talk to each other, but the bike, we can sort of communicate a bit and check that each other are doing okay. The run, basically, Ant loves to run because he can just do it effortlessly. I'm on my limit the whole time and he's just chatting away. So for me, the bike is definitely the best bit. Because I think communication between us is like the thing that makes us work really well.
We're a lot more in tune, I think, in the races than you. Even just the ones we've done. Out
of the three, swim, bike, run, which one do you find the hardest and why?
The run, because how mentally draining it is. No, not in a bad way, in a good way. When we do park run, I never realised how much mentally that takes. You've got to be on everything. Like in a concentration way, when you run on your own, you don't think about anything. When you're running with somebody, pointing out turn, different inclines, gravel, it's just, you've got to be on it. You take it for granted, don't you? Like, you just run and that's it.
Basically, if I can see a bit better and need a bit less help, like that would be beneficial. How do you feel in the swim, like guiding in the swim?
Swim's more just keeping an eye on it, like, because obviously we breathe facing each other, don't we? So on my stroke I can see all the time, but until it snaps in you.
That's what I'm
Oh man,
Can you elaborate on that?
I don't know really what happens, but I think you swam one side and I went the other side of a buoy.
Yeah, it's because they have the little marker boys, just dragging it along. And I look around, and I can see the tether had snapped.
You were basically battering me, weren't you?
Left. At one point I looked around and I was like, oh, where's he gone? Because there's hats everywhere.
What have you learned from your experience of guiding that's improved you as an individual athlete?
So it's helped with organising, because I wasn't a very organised person, but now obviously you have to be organised, don't you?
Did you check your wetsuit?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see?
Like more, we have to, I do my stuff and then I check, obviously probably don't need to, but I check your stuff as well.
It is pressure. There's like double the stuff to remember and we've got to get it in the right place. And
obviously I'm more empathetic to people who have stuff to deal with, because obviously everybody's in the race and they're all dealing with different stuff.
If someone is thinking about becoming a guide, what's your one piece of advice for them?
Just have a go. Just go for it. Like I said, it's harder than I thought it would be, but the rewards, like helping somebody carry on doing what they love to do, it's crazy, the high you get from it. Like finishing outlaw, you get a higher buzz from finishing together than you do finishing on your own. When we come over the line, it's like a massive buzz being as a team, innit? How have I done as a guide?
The really hard thing is that when you find a guide, you don't want to be like too full on. It's like a relationship. You don't want to be too keen in the early days because you don't want to scare people off. But I just feel like we just kind of connected really well, because initially it was like, if I can get someone to guide me for one sprint race, that'd be great. And then when we were talking about the para triathlon series, you were like, yeah, I'm up for that. And it's like, great, well, we'll try and do some of that. And then Outlaw came up and it's like, well, actually, we can go a bit longer if you want to. So for me personally, like I've always wanted to go and race big races, and there's a Guinness World Record that I've had my good eye on for a long time. But I never really thought racing with someone over an Ironman distance would be something I could achieve. But then when we started working together, it's like, well, if you want to do an Ironman, like we can do an Ironman.
I think we could get that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to allow myself to future plan if I didn't like racing with you. It's like, I want to be a better athlete, I want to train harder because I want to make, do my best for you, because I feel like you deserve a better athlete on the back of a bike, or running with someone quick, or swimming with someone quicker. So my aim with triathlon and my training is to get better for you, because I respect you as an athlete and what you do for me. So in terms of how have you done, like, mate, I don't want to race with anyone else, to be honest. And we spent a ton on my bike to get it set up for you, so it's not going to be easy to replace you, mate, I think we need GB tri suits and we need a Guinness World Record. I think that's what we need.